Hello, this is Melinda Bailey, and I am presenting on effective professional development. The article presents 7 different principles that are important to professional development. First, effective professional development is content-focused. It's not a broad focus. It can focus on a content area, and it can be content-specific. The article says that effective professional development supports teachers' learning within their classroom contexts. So I think one of the negatives of some professional development I've gone to is they try to address too many content areas in one session, where that's not going to provide relevant, authentic examples that you can implement in the classroom when you're trying to address so many different content areas, so many different grade levels all at once. So it needs to have a clear, concise focus. Effective professional development incorporates active learning. It's not sit and get. You don't just sit there and listen to a lecture, which the article points out is not an effective method of instruction. It uses authentic artifacts, interactive activities, and other strategies to provide deeply embedded, highly contextualized professional learning. So again, it's providing something that's relevant to the learner that they could potentially easily implement within a small amount of time. So it's, again, active learning. Third, effective professional development supports collaboration. You learn in a group with other people. Everyone shares their learning. The article states that effective professional development creates space for teachers to share ideas and collaborate in their learning, often in job-embedded contexts. So a lot of the job-embedded contexts will be a common planning time for a specific grade level or content area, professional learning communities. One school I worked at, we had some early dismissal days where teachers would work together in professional learning communities after the students left. But it's important to develop professionally as a group with other people who can share the experience, hold you accountable, and give you feedback and insights. Fourthly, effective professional development uses models of effective practice. This is similar to the active learning, in my opinion. It provides a clear vision of what best practices look like. Teachers may view models that include lesson plans, unit plans, sample student work, observations of peer teachers, and video or written cases of teaching. So again, it gives a relevant example that will be useful to the teacher to implement very easily in their classroom. Again, this is why it's important for it to be content focused, because you cannot provide all of these examples to every learner if it's a broad subject. So I see how a lot of these principles kind of scaffold on to each other. Fifthly, effective professional development provides coaching and expert support. So it does focus directly on the teacher's individual needs. And a lot of the effective professional developments I've been a part of, there's follow-up, there's a support plan in place for the next meeting of the professional development or the next time that this would be discussed. A lot of times presenters will make themselves available and share their contact information, but you really need to have a set time in which you can work side by side with the coach or with an expert, whether they come into your classroom or you visit another classroom where the strategies are used. 6, effective professional development offers feedback and reflection. It provides time for teachers to intentionally think about, receive input on, and make changes to their practice by facilitating reflection and soliciting feedback. So it's not just an internal monologue the teacher has with themselves, but they're also asking others for opinions, brainstorming new ideas, planning together with their collaborative team. Feedback and reflection both help teachers to thoughtfully move forward toward the expert visions of practice, again, implementing the relevant resources that they're given from the PD. And it's important as a professional developer to plan time for the attendees to process what is shared, whether it's just a reflection at the end of the session or you do send out a feedback survey to get feedback from the teachers of what next steps need to be in place for them to implement the professional development. And lastly, effective professional development is of sustained duration. So when I read this, I first thought we need to respect the attendees' time and then also follow up in a timely manner. But it also needs to be spaced, needs to be planned in a way that gives teachers adequate time to learn, practice, implement, and reflect on new strategies that facilitate changes in their practice. So they need to observe the strategy taking place in a real environment. They need to collaborate with their teammates or other teachers on how to implement the professional development, brainstorm how to implement it, and then also reflect on what possible hindrances they would have for the professional development or the new teaching strategy, and then make a plan to come back to it and how they would evaluate it. So all of these points for effective teacher professional development came from this report, and thank you for listening to my presentation.